Hello, it's Randy Duck and we're back again for another video. This time we've got one replay for you in the Tier 9 Swedish heavy tank, the Emil II. Now this is a tank which, to be honest with you, I'm not a massive fan of, just because I find the accuracy can troll me a little bit. Even with the 6.0 I find the gun can be a little bit trolly, so you're not always making maximum of your clip potential. However, it is a decent tank, especially in this scenario, because we have the dream scenario for this tank. We're on proc, and there's no fun police, and I don't really think there's a light tank, or maybe it's only, there's no light tank in this game, and there's no fun police, so it's a dream scenario, because the good thing about this tank is obviously the really great turret armour and the gun depression. So it's just the perfect map to be on, and the fact that we don't have to worry about artillery means really you should get quite a lot of us in our heavy tanks and etc. stuff with the gun depression go into the centre ridges, because there's no reason not to. What you don't want to be doing is like in your heavy tank sitting at like the J2 position, because you're not going to get the most out of the game. You're not going to be the most used to your team. I mean, it's okay if you're in a tank destroyer, but not sitting there in a heavy tank, not when there's no artillery which you don't have to worry about. Now this Centurion Action X, he took the bowl quickly. Not a terrible play, but it's just, with this turret and with this gun depression, I was able to overpeak on him, put 1,000 damage into it, and he then get finished off. Petty, who I'm platoon with this game, is now taking the bowl, going for the assist. Now I only have one shot left in the chamber, which I've now used, and I'm now on a reload, so I can't really help him out. Now I do have to be a little bit careful on this ridge, because the turret on this tank is fantastic when you're using your gun depression and you are looking directly at the enemy. But if you turn the turret ever so slightly, where you're having to deal with multiple angles, it becomes quite an easy pen, because the side of this turret is weak and it's quite big as well. So this is where it gets a little awkward, because I'm in a great scenario position, but we've got people down the 1-2 and we've got people on my right and the 3-4. Now this is obviously causing me to have to keep turning my turret, so I've got to be patient, because there's a lot of tank destroyers in there which could hurt me. Now I could, if I stay exposed too long trying to look for shots, it could end badly for me. Obviously when you're front on looking at the tanks, you can be pretty safe to be reliable, especially when you're using the gun depression, that you're going to be about to bounce a few shots. Now you see, like I say, what I was saying, this is, unfortunately you've only got sort of 2 of us or 3 of us on this ridge. You've got sort of heavy tanks sitting down on the train tracks at the bottom right, and you've got heavy tanks sitting on the sort of 1-2 line, and then you've got all the tanks sitting on the hill. Ultimately, the enemy team is probably better positioned than us, because it's like I say, it is frustrating when you play proc and there's no fun police, and you're thinking, why are you doing that? Because you're not making the best out of your tank, especially when you see things like super conquerors and sat there, and you're thinking, whoa, this is just crazy. You've got the best turret, gun depression, and you're like going up the hill and stuff like that. Thing is, what a waste of a game really. You don't always get, it's very rare you get prop with no artillery. So we had a decent start to this game, haven't we? We picked up 1,000 assistance, just shy of 3,000 damage, and we just blocked 1 shell for 390. We did get slapped hard by one of their tank destroyers, and that's now put us on 900 hit points. Like I say, that's because we were turning our turret looking for shots, and then we got penetrated through the side of a turret, which is awkward. Now this is going to be one of those games where we are in the same sort of position for a lot of it at the start. That's because this is the position I want to be in really. I don't want to push over into the bowl, because there's too many angles on me, and it's going to be awkward, especially when I'm an autoloader as well. If things did rush me, I'm on the reload, I don't want to get caught out and lose my tank, because unfortunately we did see what happened to Petty when he went in there. It's one of those positions where you can have a really good game if you get in the bowl, a really good game, but also early doors, it can be frustrating when people just full rush you, and, they don't even care. And at this point, there's just too many angles on me if I was in there. So I'm just going to have to stay put and stay in this position. It's a fairly even game. Now, this Object 279E, he pops up. Now, really, with these AP rounds, when he's like that, I'm not penetrating him. I'm kind of wasting these shots, if I'm honest. He's got too much of an angle shooting there, so that was a waste. My only chance of penning really at that point was if I just went for his cupola. But like I say, this accuracy isn't the best on this tank. It can troll you quite a lot, I always find, even with 6.0. You see there, we do block a nice little damage there. We blocked up to 1,700. As I say, front on, this is great. But we've got to be careful, because realistically, we've got myself, and I think there's Andre the Giant with me. If we die in this position now, then the enemy are going to probably have a comfortable win, because they're going to be able to push up. Nothing's going to be spotting them. If one of them then pushes up and maybe goes in the bowl, they're going to be able to light up, and it's going to be easy farms. The enemy would have the advantage if we die here, because we would have no map control whatsoever, and they could just squeeze on us. So it is important that I stay alive, really. I've got 2,000 assistance, 3,000 damage. I've had a pretty decent game, but there's obviously a lot more in this, especially the fact there's no light tanks in the game, because there's a good chance it's either going to be me lighting stuff up, or this Andre, we're either going to share assistance, because we're both the furthest forward. Obviously, I do run optics in this tank, so I run visions, everything. I run optics, to be honest with you, and everything. But one thing I do run in the Emil II as well is powertrain, just to get that little extra engine boost. Because the top speed's fairly decent in this tank, it just lacks the power to reach it, so that powertrain really does help. I'll probably run the other speed boost on it if I could, but I just can't afford to lose the vert stabs in this tank. I do think it needs it. We get a nice shot into their TD at the back there. Now we're going to go on a reload, because it's getting a little bit cagey, because they're pushing us up. I think the Andre to my right is fairly low health. Obviously I've only got 900 and there's some nasty TDs. That could, a potential one shot if they high roll on some of the tank destroyers which are in the back. So I do have to be careful. But at the same time, I've got to keep poking if I need to try and light them up so I can get some assistance. I know I do have a Death Star down the J12 line, so if one of their team gets caught over peaking for too long, there's always a chance he can get slapped, and that's what I'm kind of hoping for at the moment, because there's nowhere I can really go. I'm kind of thinking, maybe do I go over the hill, see if I can get a few shots into guys over there, but I'm not too sure I want to give up this position just yet. You see, I did have a quick over peek and check the health on my tanks at the back, and they are both one shots. So it's going to get cagey. It's gone to it was an 8-11, so the enemy is now winning. And it's just crucial that I try and stay alive basically till as long as I can, because this is still winnable. It's going to be a very tight game, and it is tight, to be fair, all the way through this game. So we just trying to, you see, I want to get shots on these guys on the right, but it's just every time I overextend like that, if I go too high, I know I'm going to get shot in the side of the turret by the enemy team sort of camping down the 1-2 line. And that's my problem basically. But now this Cranraven, he has made the play, he's pushing down. Sorry, and this is going to be a problem for me. I can't let him be in the back of us, because then it's going to cause us all sorts of problems. But at the same time, I've got enemies sort of pushing in on me, so I've swapped to the smaller map to just try and get my bearings around. I do get shot in the side by them over peaking. It's getting awkward. I'm now on a one shot to a lot of the tanks, but I really want to get rid of this cranny. Fortunately for me, he's pushed out into the open where I can get shots in. We managed to shut him down, which is crucial, because now we don't have anything behind us, and we can just try and concentrate like we have been doing on the front of us. Unfortunately, Andre gets slapped by the SU. We try and get a shot into him. We don't manage to take him out, and now he's going to pull back while we're on a reload. We're trying to get out of the way of the Andre. There's not much room for both of us here, but I'm just trying our best, because obviously I don't want him to die, because then I'm going to be left on my own while I'm on my reload. And as I say, it's been close game all the way through. It is one of those ones where I've been stuck in the same position for a lot of the game. It's always like, but I don't know. I felt like this. I just wanted to show this video because it's what it can do when it's in a, when it's got the right scenario for the tank in, and this is one of those occasions. So again, it's 6-6. It's been close all the way through. Now, obviously, I know the stuff down the 1-2, but it's hard to spot that far, isn't it? Every time I'm over peaking, I'm getting lit up. I'm trying to spot them, but I'm just getting out spotted every time. Now I'm thinking, you know what? I'm just weighing up my options. Can I get into this bowl and push the vision? Because it's that sort of time now where there's not so many tanks in there. We do manage to spot the 50 TP by doing this. I'm just trying to desperately sort of erratically drive, trying to get in there because hoping, I didn't want to get shut down. But we do spot him, and we're going to try and keep him spot to see if we can, he can get shut down. I'm conscious again that there's now stuff on the train track, so when I overpoke these shots, again it's the same scenario. I don't want to get shot in the side of the turret. We was unlucky not to penetrate the TD there, which was on a one shot. Would have been big if we did take him out, but it's very close. I'm probably hoping that maybe our heavy sat on the train track is going to maybe come up a bit closer to sort of the ridge, like the B5 or something like that. Maybe just create another angle really, so they're not always just focused on me, because at the moment every time I poke up, that's where they're looking to get shots into, so it is pretty awkward. So at this point I'm thinking, you know what, I don't know if I'm liking this. I'm not really liking stuff. I'm getting out spotted every time I poke. You see my 6th sense off, and detective goes off, they're looking at me. I'm going to weigh up my options to see if can I potentially get out of here. But I see the Death Star moving up, so I think I want to be prepared if he does light something. I want to be able to shoot it, so I don't want him to move down there, get shot and die in vain. So I'm trying to stay with him, but I'm also thinking I might try and get out of this bowl because it's not really working for me at the moment. That's what's going through my mind anyway, as you can see. But yeah, it's an awkward game because not a lot's really. I'm not able to spot them, and I can't push over because I'm going to get taken out. The object 2685 shuts down our Death Star. It's a shame because he would have killed him earlier, would have kept him out. Now I'm thinking that there's no chance of anyone lighting them because he wasn't able to. I'm just going to try and get out of here. We see the object 270. We go for a shot, which was risky, but we wanted to see if we could take him out blind because he was a one shot to us. We get lit up, so we use the wreck as a bit of cover, and it's now on us again, so 4 versus 4, but there's no one on this side of the map with me anymore, so I'm thinking about moving over to my team, so I'm not just sort of stuck here basically by myself. But I'm going to poke up to see if I can spot anything first, just so we can get an idea. Just to keep alert, basically, just keep the vision up, just in case that TD had pushed up, and I don't want him to get there unspotted. Just trying to keep the vision, because at this sort of scenario, at the end of the games like this, vision's everything. That's why obviously there's no light tanks in this game, but when there are, that's why they're so crucial that you take them out before it gets to the end game, because when it comes to the end game, things with mobility and view range on maps like this are going to win games basically, because it's if you outspot them, if you've got a little bit about you and you're able to move about, know the mechanics, you can outspot people. And yeah, it's going to be a massive advantage. So I'm going to pull back because, like I say, I'm well on my own now, so I don't want to just, I'm a one shot as well. I don't want to get spotted, die for nothing, and then leaving our team over there by ourselves. I mean, we're in a 4 versus 3 at the moment, so technically, if it, there's not long left on the clock, so at the moment we are winning. But I would like to, to see if we get some more out of the game. We see the object 277. We get a different angle, and then we get one shot into him. We go for a second, very slim shot. Now we're going to pull that right back down so we don't get shot out. With this object, Thankyou is on the hill. We go for one into his drive wheel, hoping that we might track him in place. But he repairs that. We get a second shot into him, and now we're on a reload. I'm waiting basically to see if I want this sort of strive to stay alive as long as I can, just so hopefully I can reload. But he then gets shut down by that object 268-5. which is the same tank that Troy wasn't able to kill earlier, I believe. Oh no, it wouldn't have been him, it probably would have been someone at the train track, sorry, because it would have been out of render to the other object 265. But yeah, unfortunately we don't manage to take him out, so we're going to pull back down, because now we're on a 3 versus 3, but we're all very low hit points, and I'm worried that we're not going to win this game unless we take another tank out, because I just, you know, I don't want to leave it down to chance, basically. So I'm going to push in and just hopefully we can take out this object 277, because if we do, then obviously we're going to have the numbers and then we're going to win the game. So I'm rushing over, there's seconds left on the clock. He does get shut down, but now I'm hoping I don't get shut down myself. I've just missed a shot, which was lucky. And now we're going to win the game, because obviously we've got more tanks than the enemy remaining. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that game. All that's left is to get to the results screen and we can see how we got on. So we've got 2 kills, 4,500 damage, 4,297 assistance, block damage 2,500. So yeah, like I say, it was a bit of more of a static game, but still I just felt right to show a little bit what the Emil II you know, can do when it's got the right maps for it. So I hope you enjoyed that one. And as always, thank you for watching and happy tanking.